welcome back, guys, to another episode of the Geek Centurions. It's me, boy, Eli, with Joe. And we decided to do Space Jam because, we're 90s kids. We're kids that were, born in the 90s. We grew up watching Space Jam. we love the Michael Jordan and the Bugs Bunny and all the crazy Looney Tunes. So we decided to check out Space Jam: A New Legacy with LeBron James. And we have different opinions. And that's what made me go like, okay, we need to do an episode on this because this is gonna be fun. So let's get started, Joey.
Oh, sorry. That is what this movie has done to me.
Yeah, it's killing me.
Yeah, it is definitely killing me.
Yeah, I loved it though. So, Joey, just give us your quick thoughts before. And by the way, this will be spoilery because by the time this episode comes out, it's at least been a week or two.
Yeah, a bit late on the bandwagon. But to be fair, we had some busy schedules as of late. Mm-hmm. But, better late than never, as we always say. Space Jam: A New Legacy is certainly a movie.
Mm-hmm.
To me.
To you.
It is certainly a movie.
It has made many sins to you.
Yeah, we won't get into too many plot, mainly because, if you've seen the trailer, you already know the plot.
You already know the plot.
It's basically, if you, it's written in the trailer, LeBron James has to play a basketball game to save his kid, from, Don Cheadle, who, was like, I'm tired of being War Machine. I want to be the bad guy now. Not true, but basically, I think Don Cheadle's supposed to be some AI.
Yeah, he's an algorithm.
He's literally that's his name. He's Algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, sure, I guess they couldn't come up with a cooler name.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he's like, I wanna, if LeBron wins, he gets his kid back. If LeBron loses, they get stuck in the serververse, Warner Brothers serververse. Because, that's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, overall, this movie is... I will say this. It was not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still not that good of a movie. It's... It very much is... not... the plot itself is alright. Mm-hmm. At least the plot...
It's a very straightforward plot.
Yeah, with, I guess, LeBron and stuff. But it's not as, I guess... It definitely feels like the plot sort of wraps itself up.
Mm-hmm.
Good portion of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because we get to the basketball game,
pretty early.
Yeah, for a 2-hour movie... We get to the basketball game at the hour mark, which I don't know if that's just because of the pacing or what, but it just feels like it feels kind of bloated, and I think half of that just has to do with the fact that of the setting of it being in this serververse where it's just a bunch of
but the serververse, he's essentially saying that it's on a computer. It's basically you're accessing the vault of Warner Brothers. So everything that's been under or bought by Warner Brothers, it's in there.
Yeah, there's a good chunk of the movie where LeBron and Bugs are just jumping around to different worlds, essentially. They visit DC Land. They go to...
the Game of Thrones.
They don't jump into Harry Potter land, but they do reference it, which I can only assume it's because one, J.K. Rowling did not want them to use footage from the movie, or they didn't just want to go. They just didn't want to talk to J.K. Rowling because she's been doing some interesting stuff,
or they just didn't feel like going there.
I mean, to be fair, maybe they didn't have enough time to promote the new Fantastic Beasts movie, which is still supposed to come out or whatever. Mm-hmm. And there's some odd ones. The Matrix, which is, yes, sure, I guess. And this one kind of hurt me.
Because you're a film guy.
Yeah, because I am a film guy. I went to film school, and there's like a whole like Casablanca world, and it's just like so it's all the other places they go to. Even there's even like a section where they have a Austin Powers thing, which I mean it's fun to see like Austin Powers get referenced, but
I will say this: I'll explain as to why I'm okay with it, and also like why it makes sense. And thankfully, I will say this: we don't spend longer than we have to, except for maybe the granny one.
yeah, because essentially yeah, but it just feels like
You could have chosen any other movie.
yeah, I'm just like, but why? Like, not only that, it's just that it's very clear that all the worlds they go to up to this point are franchises. These are films that have their own world and universe and, various things. Right? Casablanca is a 1940s film that's only well known because it's, like, a really good film from back in the day. Like why? Why is that? Is it just there to be like, that's a really old black and white film? Why not just go with like, I don't know, like the original King Kong movie, which by the way, King Kong is in this movie and would make a ton of sense to do. So
Or any Western movie, because considering who they grab in that,
exactly. Because they find Yosemite Sam in Casablanca, and it's like that is definitely a choice. But yeah,
I have a theory as to why that was done, but I'll get to that later.
Yeah, it's very, and I think for me anyway, they're just like it tries to be like Ready Player One, because obviously if you've seen the trailers, there's when they play the big basketball game. Half of the spectators are just a bunch of Warner Brothers characters they have. We see the Flintstones show up, the Jetsons, Scooby-Doo in the gang, the Iron Giant, King Kong, obviously. Just a bunch of...
The Animaniacs.
Yeah, who are only like... They just, like... Most of them are all just basically glorified cameos that don't really do much except just watch the game. And it like, at least in Ready Player One, when we see a lot of those cameos of various pop culture geek icons and stuff, they're doing stuff, right? At least they get like their 5 seconds of fame.
I would argue that, but sure, continue.
Like, here they're just sort of there, It's like, okay, we have Mr. Freeze from the Batman and Robin movie, who's not played by Arnold Schwarzenegger. They couldn't get Arnold to show up. Like, okay, I mean, you have not Danny DeVito's Penguin from Batman Returns.
You also have a bad-looking Pennywise.
And a bad-looking Jim Carrey mask. The Night King's there, just hanging out.
With the rest of the White Walkers?
Yeah, it's just all kinds of, like, why is this even a thing if you're not even, like, making that big of a deal out of it? Like, if anything, like, the only cameo that's, like, even remotely, like, I guess, interesting, and I use the word interesting loosely here, just because they actually seem like themselves, is fucking Rick and Morty show up to just throw the Tasmanian Devil at them. It's like, he's your problem now. And it's like, first of all, very, very weird that Rick and Morty is in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. Like, it's a very big Adult Swim show. Like, literally, like...
The biggest show they've had.
They're just whoring out. And, I mean, I guess, like, it's the people behind Rick and Morty kind of tongue-in-cheek it all the time. But it's just, like, once Rick is in Fortnite, it's like... Man, you are really sellouts. Even if you try to play it off, like, you're just full-on sellout, man.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's just... I just feel like all the fucking cameos and all this stuff is just wholly unnecessary.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and even I think the other, I guess, problem I have is like once we get to the actual, I guess, big game of it, it's just very sort of like I don't know. It just feels like we're there forever. Like we get various detours and stuff while during the game. I don't know. It's just not that very interesting of a movie. I will say, like,
Mm-hmm.
to go into positives, there are like a couple of jokes that are okay,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's a scene with Don Cheadle and LeBron's son, which I'm not entirely sure. Like, I assume
That's not his son.
no, I assume that is his son.
I'm pretty sure it's not.
Like, I mean, listen, I don't know LeBron James. I don't follow LeBron James, but like, I don't expect their entire. It feels like because his whole family's in the movie, and it definitely feels like that's his family. I don't know. It'd be very weird.
I mean, I don't think it is his family. It just doesn't make sense. Like, I could see it being an acting, like it's just a bunch of actors. But I'll double check on it just in case.
Okay, but regardless, it's a joke that Don Cheadle makes for like essentially insinuating that LeBron's a bad dad because he's always leaving. He's left Miami, like he left Cleveland, he left Miami, he left Cleveland again. Which I mean, it's like that's kind of funny because they do sort of. Those are like the only like meta jokes I feel that work is the ones that poke fun at like LeBron and all his time in the NBA. And there is one other good like joke I think, and it's involves Michael Jordan, where I believe Sylvester.
Yeah, not his real family.
It's not his real family?
No, it's not his real family.
Okay, interesting. I mean, yeah, I guess they didn't want to. Either they weren't confident in their own acting abilities, but I am assuming they're all based on his actual kids, right?
Some of them are.
Okay. But yeah, the joke with Michael Jordan being that Sylvester thinks he's found Michael Jordan. That hey, we have MJ now. He can help us, and it turns out it's Michael B. Jordan, which I mean,
you do know he was named after Michael Jordan, right?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Like, to be perfectly honest, it is a funny joke. I will say that. I think that's definitely one of the better jokes in this movie. Because obviously it's like, that's not Michael Jordan, that's Michael B. Jordan. And everybody's like, oh, God damn it. But yeah, overall, this movie is just, I don't know, it's just so bland and corporate.
I'll say my piece in a minute.
It's just all kinds of just
Mm-hmm.
not interesting. And granted, I went into this movie with an open mind, and this is not from like pure nostalgia of like, oh, the original Space Jam is better. Because I mean, I've definitely watched the original Space Jam at least a couple of times after I was a kid, and yeah, that movie is a product of its times, a product of the '90s. Super cheesy. MJ, not that great of an actor.
Never was. Never said he was.
No one ever said MJ was a good actor. LeBron at least can act. Not voice act though, because there are sections where he's animated and it just doesn't feel right. Mm-hmm. But physical acting, LeBron's fine. He does a good job, and it's just everything else is just very sort of bland and uninteresting. And that's just my take.
Okay, so this is where we're saying like we both, because I enjoyed this movie. I thought it was good. I'm not saying like good, like good. I'm like it's better than I thought it'd be. Because here's the thing. A lot of the jokes are very meta. A lot of stuff's going on is very meta. The whole idea of Don Cheadle's character, he's an algorithm that's trying to sell a thing involving all the Warner Brother properties. And even LeBron makes note of saying, that's a terrible fucking idea.
Yeah, but just because the movie says it's a bad idea and they still do it doesn't make it good.
No, I'm not saying it makes it good. It makes it like that. But I'm saying, like, they know what they're doing. This is clearly, like, they from the get-go, you can already tell, like, we already know what we're doing. Like, we know what this is. We're not trying to make gold here. We're just here to have fun. And you can clearly tell that from a lot of the things that they've done. A lot of the things, especially made with, the 2D animation, was like, they were for fun. But, you're saying, like, these, like, cameos and all that stuff, they're just kind of there for, like, no reason. Yeah, that's kind of what cameos are. They're just there. Like, you're not, like, the only time you ever feel, like, good from a cameo is, like, when it's really in your face and, like, it's done in a nice way. Here it's like, yeah, we're in a fucking world full of Warner Brothers properties. It's there. Like, there's nothing to do about it. Like, you really want fucking Rick to do some of his shit that he's known for? No, this isn't the right place for that. Total whiplash.
Then why is he even there?
Then why is he even there?
Yeah, why is he even there?
You just said it yourself. The man sold out.
Well, it's not a good excuse.
I know it's not a good excuse, but I'm saying, like, and they basically acknowledge, like, yeah, this is gonna be a lot of bullshit. Yeah, you're just not with me on this one, are you?
No,
Okay. But I mean, like, here's the thing. It's not a terrible movie, as many people would try to say. Do I think it's kind of, like, bloated? Yeah, it is. But you can also say that for the first Space Jam. The first Space Jam movie wasn't, like, really that paced well.
Okay.
Everything was, like, quick. There wasn't really much of a character development for MJ. You can argue there's one, but there really isn't one. Here, at least with, like, in terms of the story for, LeBron, it's really just, he was always taught to never, pay attention to distractions, not to have fun, to focus on what he's got to do, which is play the game, do what, that's basically what he essentially was doing the whole time. Like, he never let his sons, like, do their interests, because it's like, hey, if you're going to play ball, you're going to play ball. Nothing else. But then, like, you have this moment where, LeBron is basically learning, like, nah, man, you just gotta chill, dude. You just gotta chill. We're here to have fun. This isn't, like, that serious of a game. It's a fucking basketball game. Learn to fucking chill. And that's why we have all that stuff later on. Now, do I say, like, a lot of it makes sense, a lot of it's good? No. It's not. We just said that the fucking granny with her fucking Matrix thing was just terrible.
Right, yeah, right.
The rapping pig was not that good.
Definitely not great.
No. Do I want to see that? No. But they at least acknowledge and they don't stay too long with the situations. Again, the granny one is the only one that actually is too long because they just threw all the fucking Matrix jokes at you.
Yeah, I feel like that Matrix section, it felt something like...
No, you said it. You said it when we were watching. It's like this feels way too old because, like, you've seen all these jokes 100,000 times.
Shrek was making fun of this shit.
Shrek...
The first Shrek movie was making fun of the slow mo and all the Matrix stuff, and that was in 2001. That's 20 years ago.
Exactly.
That's fucking old, dude.
Yeah. But I'll argue this: that would make sense for someone like Granny. That is the only thing I would say to defend that scene.
It's not a good defense.
I didn't say it was. I didn't say it was a great defense. I said it was my only defense.
And it's clear to show that it's definitely not good enough to make that seem even remotely good.
No, it's not. I'm not disagreeing you with on that.
All right then.
Yeah, but it's like it's essentially like the idea is that you can. I'll say this. I would argue, subtextually, it's saying like Warner Brothers is the bad guy for making this movie.
Here's the thing, like I get where you would get that
Yeah.
subtext, but at the same time, it doesn't seem. It's more of Warner, like it's not entirely Warner Brothers, like saying, "Oh yeah, we know this movie is gonna be bad, but we're gonna have fun with it anyway." I don't think anyone goes into a movie thinking, "Oh, it's gonna be bad, but we're just gonna have fun with it." No one ever goes into making a movie like that. Like I feel most people who make a movie want it to at least be decent. But in terms of, I guess, because your whole plot, your whole sort of, I guess, thing here being that since Don Cheadle's Mr. Algorithm is a creation of Warner Brothers, that he is essentially just controlling all of Warner Brothers, which that's not necessarily true, because if I recall, as soon as LeBron was like, "No, that's a terrible idea. Why would I ever do something like this where you just put me in random movies or whatever?" The executives of Warner Bros. Like, "Of course, yeah, totally. It's so dumb. This algorithm, so stupid. Why would we ever listen to this?" Right? So it's clear that, like...
But they still made it, though.
Well, only when the algorithm went out of control. It's not... I feel like you are leaning too into that Warner Brothers intentionally decided to make a bad movie.
I didn't say they intentionally made a bad movie. I say, like, if there was you can read a subtext of it that you could argue whether or not it's there.
And I would argue that it's not really there. Like, maybe if like you stretch it a bit, but I don't know if that'd be weird. It's more of like one rogue executive being a bad guy at Warner Brothers. But I mean, I don't know.
But how many times would one producer come in and be like, "Can you just change this one thing, just to for this?" Because I don't know, it would seem more marketable to whatever fucking demographic. Would that not sound like something that an executive would do?
Potentially.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a little. I don't know. It's a bit of a stretch. I'm not gonna say you're wrong. It's when it comes to subtext in movies, it's always up to the eye of the beholder. So whatever. But yeah, regardless.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, some of the stuff, when you see it in the trailers, you're like, I don't want to see this. It looks pretty bad. But thankfully, they don't linger on it too much. There's at least enough stuff for you to enjoy. And like I said, there's a good through line story with, I'm not saying it's the perfect one, but it's at least decent enough with LeBron and his son. Heck, there's a real good through line with Bugs Bunny. My man is lonely.
Yeah, he does go insane because everybody left him.
Yeah.
And he's very much like, and LeBron's like, we gotta recruit like the best characters around. We gotta get Batman, we gotta get Superman, we gotta get King Kong, and Bugs is like, how about Daffy Duck instead? And it's just, obviously because he wants to get all his friends back.
Yeah, and like he would do anything for his friends, and just let him be himself. So there's a clear through line. There's a clear theme going on, and it's established well. Does everything around it? Is everything around it questionable? Yes, but I don't feel that this movie is as terrible as, because that's my real argument with this situation. Is this movie as terrible as everyone is making it out to be? No, it is not terrible. It's fine. It's not as enjoyable as the first one, in my personal opinion, because the first one has its charm. This one, doesn't have that much of a charm, but it has some good. You can enjoy it. It's fine.
Okay.
That is what I'm arguing.
And you can argue that.
And I can argue that.
Does not, that's your opinion.
Mm-hmm. It means it's the right one, though.
Yeah,
no.
Opinion does not equal facts.
No, it doesn't. Despite what people always say. But I mean, but I also get why people don't like it. I went in, blank head, and I found myself slightly enjoying this movie, and I can't deny that. I mean, I totally understand people with your perspective why it's a bad movie. I totally get it. And let's face it, you and I have disagreed a lot when it comes to different movies. If you've watched this before, you probably already know that we still arguing about the insert song for Beast in the live action Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, but I feel like that's a bit different in this scenario because we're just arguing about one section in a movie that we both kind of agree is all right.
Mm-hmm.
Here we're arguing
is it good or is it bad?
Yeah, just the entire movie. We're not it'd be more comparable if we were arguing the use of Foghorn Leghorn dressed up as Daenerys Targaryen was a good addition or not.
I'll bring you this. Do the jokes that Looney Tunes have made in this seem out of character for them?
I don't think so, but that doesn't mean it's
no, because I'm like I kind of laughed when they did that whole Foghorn Leghorn as Daenerys. I'm like, because that's the comedy of it. That's oftentimes the comedy of the Looney Tunes. So that's why
though? Just them referencing things?
Well, not referencing things, but just doing something that's a little absurd like that.
I don't know.
I mean, they've done stuff like that before.
All I can say is, I find myself enjoying Looney Tunes back in action more than this movie. I'll tell you that right now.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I would argue Looney Tunes back in action is still not that good of a movie.
Oh, I know it's not that good of a movie. I just enjoy it more than this movie.
I don't know, man. If I came out laughing more from one movie to the other, I would say I enjoyed the one that made me laugh, and this is the one that made me laugh.
I mean, and again, that's your opinion. Comedy is subjective.
Yeah,
it doesn't make a movie good. I mean, people fucking love all the shit Adam Sandler makes. Are all his comedy movies good? No, there's some that are good. But there's a good chunk of them that are just basically just Adam Sandler and his friends go to exotic locations of vacation and make a movie out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's comedy subjective, and
Oh no, I'm not disagreeing with you at all. And I want people to just understand. We may seem like we're arguing, but we're really not. We're just more or less establishing look, you're right, but you're also wrong.
I don't think I'm wrong.
That's really the issue right there. Joey doesn't like to be wrong.
No, I can accept being wrong, but when you're in the domain of films, I think I not to sound like a snob, but I feel like
like a snob.
I feel like I know more. I think I know what makes an objectively good film.
To be fair, Jay, from what you've told me, you are not the snobbiest person.
I am not. I mean, I feel like we've discussed this multiple times. Various moments in films where I'm like, okay, I can accept this, right? This film just doesn't have that for me. I'm going to be honest.
Okay, but I just want to establish real quick. Do you think it might be nostalgia? Even though, you say it's not. Do you think part of it might have to be that?
I don't think so.
Uh-huh.
Like, the original Space Jam is an alright movie. I liked it as a kid, obviously, but there's a lot of things I liked as a fucking kid that are kind of dumb now. Yu-Gi-Oh! That's fucking stupid. Like, I mean, I enjoy the shit out of,
the card game.
Out of the card game and, various moments in the anime, but am I gonna rewatch all of, OG Yu-Gi-Oh? Fuck that. No. I'm not doing that.
Dragon Ball Z.
Same. It's kind of a similar thing. Am I gonna rewatch old like DBZ? No, I'm not gonna do that.
Maybe not all at once.
Yeah, like DBZ, you just watch like various moments, and you're just like, yeah, that was pretty freaking dope.
Yeah.
And then you remember, oh my god, all these fights take fucking forever, right?
And I mean, there's a reason why there's a reason why you kind of preferred Kai, because it got to the point.
Yeah, it definitely cuts down on the fat.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, like honestly, I'll say this: if you enjoy the film, more power to you. If you didn't, I mean, I'm not surprised you didn't.
I mean, it's pretty easy to hate a bad film.
It's pretty easy. But okay, let me ponder this to you. Do you think years down the line, this will be enjoyed as just as the old Space Jam? Do you think?
No, I don't think so. Because I feel like... Because I think this is an argument I think a lot of people can make about this film I've seen popped up. Is that Space Jam 1 was a lightning in a bottle scenario. Like, at the time, it was made because Michael Jordan did a lot of commercials, and some of them had Bugs Bunny in it, and they were just sort of hanging out and stuff. And then some executives were like, hey, what if we made this into a movie? And I think half of the reason why Space Jam 1 works as well as it did for the time was because it was essentially made in a period where, you know, it reflected, it delved a bit into MJ's actual life of, like, you know, he was retired from basketball, and essentially the film sort of makes it where the Looney Tunes bring him back to basketball. Now, granted, the movie came out in like 1996, which I think at that point MJ was
already playing basketball,
was back in the NBA. But still, like, I mean, you know, it feels like it's part of his mythos as an NBA player. Like, a lot of people make the joke that Space Jam is a documentary film about.
You make that joke.
I make that joke.
You're the only person I know that makes that joke. Really?
Because there's a very popular video on SB Nation or Secret Base, I think it's called now, where they literally fucking do a rewind analysis of the Space Jam basketball game. That's how many people were like, oh yeah, this is freaking in part of the mythos. Granted, it was an April Fool's joke video, but still, the fact that they went out and did that, like, people know.
How many views?
It has at least almost 1 million views. I'm pretty sure.
Fair enough.
I'm just saying.
So you can't. So you wouldn't say that this movie shows you the natural change of LeBron's character arc from a ball hogging to a man of respect.
Does it? Because I'm pretty sure actual LeBron James. I'm pretty sure
he's still a bit of a ball hogger.
I mean, I don't think he's a ball hogger, but he definitely definitely has a lot of control in where he goes because he's LeBron James. I mean, if you're trying to argue that this is like LeBron James himself having to go through an experience of letting his kids be who they want to be, I find that a very hard argument to make. Because I feel like a celebrity, you know, an athlete like LeBron James wouldn't put himself like that.
Though, to be fair, that would have to be like something personal that we don't even know about.
Yeah, and I don't know LeBron James. I've never talked to him. I've never shaken his hand. But I can't assume that he's done that to his actual kids.
I will say, though, I think maybe in the future we'll see this be in a better light. Because you know why? Do you want to know why, Joey?
Why?
So reportedly, they're thinking about making a third one.
With, well, we're going to wait another, 30 years, almost 30 years for that.
Joey, it might be a little sooner.
With who? Fucking Steph Curry?
Oh, they're moving away from basketball.
Is it Tiger Woods?
Not Tiger Woods.
Is it Lionel Messi? Ron- Ronaldo,
Actually, I would be actually totally be down to see something like that.
David Beckham,
No, it's not soccer,
Serena Williams,
not tennis,
Michael Phelps,
not swimming,
Lance Armstrong.
no biking. Actually, will they still even use Lance Armstrong?
Maybe if
Maybe.
he, like if he wants to redeem himself, probably not, obviously.
Probably not.
Um,
He did not give up those trophies.
well, I mean, they took the trophies away from him, so
I mean, he wasn't gonna give it up either way.
yeah. Um, Dale Earnhardt,
What's that name?
NASCAR.
No.
He died driving NASCAR. He went to heaven, and now he's going to be driving NASCARs with the Looney Tunes. I think
No,
it's a great
no,
idea.
no.
Do it, Warner Brothers. That'd be
no,
great.
no.
You get an untapped audience of NASCAR and revive NASCAR as a sports enterprise.
No.
The Kentucky Derby, is it gonna be a racehorse,
No.
an animated racehorse? Just tell me already. I'm not gonna get it.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
So it's like wrestling.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon's gonna show up and he's gonna be the villain and he's gonna be like, I'm gonna get these Looney Tunes to be part of my wrestling organization, and then the Undertaker's gonna show up and he's gonna like throw Daffy off the top of the Hell in a Cell.
And it's pro wrestling.
I mean, I'm actually surprised that hasn't happened, mainly because I'm pretty sure the WWE has done a bunch of shit with Hanna-Barbera cartoons.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not that big of a leap, but
You're not looking forward to it.
I don't know anyone who look forward to that.
Enjoy. Speedy Gonzalez and Rey Mysterio.
Ray's not part of the WWE anymore, isn't he?
Is he? I don't know. It's been a long time since I watched wrestling.
Yeah, so
Don't get my hopes up.
don't get your hopes up.
That would be a really weird scene, though.
I mean, I guess they barely use Speedy Gonzalez in this movie anyway, so.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think we're getting to a good point, Joey. What would be your rating? How low are we going? How low? Like the pits of hell low, or
This is
the bottomless abyss of space low?
like this. I think like I've mentioned, it's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. There are a handful of jokes that did make me either chuckle or just straight up laugh. But regardless of that does like one single joke doesn't save this movie for me.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So for me, I'm gonna give it like a 3 out of 10. Like
Really, 3.
yeah, it's just not that great of a movie.
Mm-hmm. I think that's the lowest we ever went down.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's probably the lowest we've gone with any movie
Mm-hmm.
we've reviewed. Most of the time, if we ever go low, it's like a 5 or a 6. But yeah, no, it's a 3. It's like it's just not great.
It's funny you should mention 5 or a 6
Yeah.
because I'm giving it a 5. It's like right in the middle. And if you're wondering about Space Jam, it's the original, at least a 6.
If I was to rate the original Space Jam, it's a 5.
Yeah.
Like, going and looking back at it without nostalgic glasses,
It's like
it's a 5.
Yeah, it's like it's
Yeah.
just right there.
It's just.
I mean, like I think part of it also it's like people just need to accept that these movies aren't that great. Like, yeah, they're thinking about making a Space Jam 3 with The Rock, but I'm not looking forward to that. I think I'm good. I'm good with Space Jam. Leave it there as it is.
I mean, I don't want to say. Like, I think when I remember hearing that the constant want of like a Space Jam 2 with like the top NBA player, whether it be Shaq or Kobe Bryant or LeBron James and stuff, I was always just like,
But why?
yeah, I'm like, just why? Even when they announced it back, I think in like what 2016, 2017, they were like finally actually going ahead and trying to make it. I was just like, yeah, this isn't gonna be, because again, Space Jam 1 was just a lightning in the bottle scenario. Like, I think LeBron James is like the best NBA player at the moment. Like, there's just a certain level of like greatness MJ had. You know,
Mm-hmm.
even if I was born way past the point where I could have seen MJ at his
Yeah.
prime, right? But regardless,
Well, I think it's just that MJ sort of had a personality that was just way not to say LeBron doesn't have personality. I think he's a great guy, but it's just like there was just a level of like sort of a legendary status that Michael Jordan had that could hardly be replicated.
man went on 2 3-peats, and that's only because he retired to play baseball in between those 2 years.
Yep.
Like, can you imagine the kind of shenanigans he would have been able to pull off if he kept playing those 2 years instead of retiring early?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, I don't know. At the end of the day,
I think the best thing to say to compare them, it's like Michael Jordan is Muhammad Ali to LeBron James is Mike Tyson.
yeah, like
Mike Tyson, Mike Tyson how good he is. Muhammad Ali, that was just another level, bro.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just I think for me, like, them making a new Space Jam was always gonna be a bit of a gamble, of it just not being as well received, just because, like, what else can you do with that concept?
I will say though, from my understanding, at least it was a financial success. Surprisingly. So, there's that. We'll give you that.
What?
This one was a financial success.
Space Jam 1 was also a financial success. Also, how would you know? How much money has the new Legacy made?
Slightly more than Black Widow.
Okay, then.
I gotta just make sure I'm right.
Although then again, just because a movie makes a lot of money doesn't mean it's a good movie.
Oh no, there's a reason why we still have fucking Transformer movies.
Yeah, the Transformers movies have been notoriously bombarded by the critics, and those movies made over $200 million at the box office every fucking time.
In its opening week, Space Jam: A New Legacy earned an estimated $31.7 million, according to the Associated Press and Variety, taking the #1 spot and surpassing industry expectations at the domestic box office following its July 16 premiere.
31 million.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all right, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's because we're in pandemic times.
Yeah.
That would be considered a success. And it also is available on streaming on HBO Max, which that's how we watched
Well,
it.
the fact that it it's still well, this article says stole, but it's more like it took away money from Black Widow, just like, oh, well, shucks.
Well, I mean, it came out the next week after. I mean, I guess that is interesting.
But I mean, it's like I said earlier. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. It's like there's really no, easy way to say it. There's really no correct way. If comedy is subjective, liking something is subjective. I know people that don't like things that I've liked. Just like I know that there's people that likes things that I don't like. It's just the thing. You just gotta get over it. But like I said, it's in my opinion, it's not as bad as everyone's making it out to be. It's fine. If you enjoy it, you enjoy it. If you don't, whatever. Any last words, Joey?
I still don't get why didn't he get Arnold Schwarzenegger to be Mr. Freeze again. I mean, it's just, come on, like, he's only in there for a couple of shots anyway. This movie finished filming in 2019, so the pandemic wouldn't have been an issue.
Well, I was gonna say that. Do you really think he would have be okay to just be on there for a few minutes. Like, you know, you gotta pay the man. You don't want to pay him like whatever amount of money just for a few seconds.
Well, they should have given him a better cameo then.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
And just saying, you're not thinking like someone has to handle money.
Warner Brothers is what? How they make how much fucking money off of their superhero films and shit like that? So, come on, they have money.
Come on, they don't have Disney money.
Still got money though.
They ain't got that kind of money though. Haven't you heard about the recent accusations? Yeah. Anyways, guys, that's gonna be our conversation about Space Jam: A New Legacy. Thanks for checking us out. We are mostly known to be on social media through Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at the Geek Centurions. If you follow us on Instagram, where we're most active. There's a link tree to all the podcasting sites that we're officially part of, like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, all that good stuff, and a link to our YouTube. So for all your audio listeners out there, you can give a voice to the, face to the voice. And we have a link to the Patreon where you can support us in any form of way, whether you want to or not. It's totally up to you. We are not obligating you guys to do that. But yeah, that's our review for Space Jam. Many different thoughts. But when you have an uphill battle that comes after such a cultural, would you say cultural impact is for Space Jam?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it definitely hit a lot of people,
The fact that we wanted a sequel after 25 years later.
Well, people wanted a sequel.
Yeah.
I was fine with just one Space Jam, but
Yeah. Anyways, guys, we hope you enjoyed. We'll come back with some cool stuff. Anyways, it's been your boy Eli.
It's been me, Joe.
And we have the Geek Centurions. You guys have a good one. Peace.